Later in this video, I consider myself a pro bowler, so long as the bumpers are up.
This is a good level that I'm playing on my Nintendo Switch. Here are my top 10 Mario Worlds.
Continue watching to find out what happens.
Here are my top 10 Mario Worlds.
World 4 from Super Mario Bros. 3 is best known for its large enemies. In one of my older videos, I said that the enemies were goofy, which is a nice way of saying ugly, but it wasn't very fair of me to judge. I was comparing this Goomba's appearance to my own, rather than that of other Goombas.
I need to apologize. I'm sorry.
That I set the standard for attractiveness so high. The enemies may not look very cool, but giving them a Super Mushroom and a Big Mac is an interesting idea for a world. Something as simple as Sledge Bros being used for the Hammer Bro fights makes this place unique. One of the later levels lets Mario switch between a place where all the enemies are normal sized, and a place where they're massive. An idea that would come back in future Mario games. World 4's theme song is also my favorite compared to all the other worlds in this game. World 6 from Super Mario World, otherwise known as Chocolate Island, is exactly what it sounds like. It's the 6th world. It's also made almost entirely of chocolate. For the regular levels, that adds a nice bit of variety, but I'm more impressed that the underground level and one of the fortresses follows this theme. The lava that looks like boiling chocolate has always been mesmerizing to me for some reason. Chocolate Island is the first world to introduce these fire-breathing dinosaurs, and is also the last world to use them. This game is lacking in terms of the number of dinosaurs, considering it's set in a prehistoric world. Especially considering that prehistoric world is literally called Dinosaur Land. But whatever, it's nice to at least be able to see these guys in one part of the game. They may seem intimidating when they're big, but I find that they're harder to avoid when they become smaller and capable of shooting fire in 3 directions. Overall, the levels on Chocolate Island are harder than most of the other ones in Super Mario World, which is appropriate for the penultimate world. You'll probably end up having to sacrifice Yoshi at some point because of the tough platforming. I'm sorry, buddy. Your sacrifice was actually very much in vain. I just dropped you off the side of a cliff to get some footage. What kind of a YouTuber would I be if I wasn't throwing all my morals out the window for the sake of a little bit of clout? In 8th place, I chose the bedroom from Mario Galaxy. Contrary to what you may have thought I was going to say, Gusty Garden Galaxy is not the reason that the bedroom is a fantastic world. Sure, it's got a decent song, but you spend most of the time just floating around in the air. Dusty Dune Galaxy is most notable for a glass tower that has sand constantly pushing Mario towards his death, eliciting feelings of anxiety, stress, and all of your other favorite emotions. My favorite part about the bedroom is Freeze Flame Galaxy. To get the first star, you have to climb an icy mountain. I wouldn't necessarily call it a trick to reach the top because it's mostly peaceful. The second star is the exact opposite. Mario's surrounded by lava, and it's intense. The main gimmick of this planet is to light up torches with a fire flower. Not trying to brag or anything, but I totally meant for that throw to bounce off the lava at an angle and hit the torch. Let's see if I can do it again, except this time, it's gonna bounce off a level surface. Close enough. I was contemplating putting the desert world from Mario Wonder on this list simply for the map design, but I ultimately decided that pulling on handles and all the other gimmicks in the levels weren't impressive. The Deep Magma Bog, on the other hand, has fun level design, except for the part where you're pulling on handles, but it was so insignificant that I forgot it even existed. From stomping on Roombas, to making popcorn, to trying to stay on fossil rings, there are plenty of interesting ideas. The world map may not have levels hidden away in creative locations, but the Deep Magma Bog is surprisingly well decorated. It has a mix of underground and magma-themed level tropes, although it's definitely leaning more towards the lava-engulfed final area type of world. The main thing that puts the Deep Magma Bog on this list is the Wonder Flowers. The Roomba level has a 2D bowling segment that's about as difficult as you'd expect 2D bowling to be, and the fossil level awakens an ancient dragon from his death, allowing you to ride on his back. The Best Wonder Flower challenge has Mario standing on the background and moving around like a top-down Zelda game. The creative choices and nice aesthetic are what puts the Deep Magma Bog in 7th. Luncheon Kingdom. Now that's a name I haven't heard in about 3 days, or whenever the last time I played this game was. The first kingdom I ever 100% completed in Mario Odyssey. There were so many fun challenges, but the best part was how colorful and happy it was. So many vibrant hues on the food. The various colors that made the volcano fascinating to look at. You know what? Screw the challenges. The only reason the Luncheon Kingdom made it on this list is the colors. The garden is the most peaceful dome in Mario Galaxy. When you walk in there, the only thing you hear is the chirping of birds. It's kind of creepy to not have music playing in a Mario game. The first Galaxy is a more traditional kind of creepy. There are a couple of boos, and it's dark and deep. And a galaxy? Oh crap, I recorded the script writing process. Dreadnought Galaxy is basically an invasion of a massive, heavily armed spaceship. There are a lot of 2D segments, which is something that I like to see occasionally sprinkled throughout 3D Mario games. Matter Splatter is a fun galaxy. I call the galaxies that only have 1-star fun levels because they're typically a linear, traditional Mario experience that don't feel as important as the other galaxies. Also, they're just pure bliss to play.
I'm having a good time. Very legitimate rage quit.
Melty Molten is my favorite galaxy in the entire game. If you've been paying attention to this video, then you've probably noticed that I like levels with lava. Melty Molten is a very well executed lava level. You start out on a planet with a massive volcano that's really only there for show. But what isn't really only there for show is the fireballs. There's so many cinematic moments throughout this level. The final segment to get the first star manages to be both cinematic and fun to play, which is kind of rare to see. The fifth world from Mario Galaxy 2 starts with one level that you're forced to complete, Space Storm Galaxy. It's crazy how the person who's in charge of creating the clever names over at Nintendo looked at all of the cool things in this level and said, you know that 5-second escort mission? And you know how everyone hates escort missions? Let's base the entire level's name on that. For as much as I would like to complain about this decision, it actually lowered my expectations going into the level and left me surprised by just how good it was. Once you get the star, you can go to any of the other galaxies in the world. I'll start with Blue Moon Galaxy, because it's my least favorite. I don't want to crap on the names of things too much, but the fact that it was based on this says it all. The second star is better than the first because it introduces the Boo power-up, but I still don't think it compares to the other galaxies. Upside Dizzy is a traditional level, and I'm not mad about that at all. Now we're moving on to the best part of World 5, starting with Shiverburn Galaxy. The very first thing you see is a bunch of lava, which is always a good sign. One thing that Shiverburn does better than Freeze Flame Galaxy is combining the fire with the ice. There are parts where you have to avoid lava that collides with ice, and vice versa. For whatever reason, the part of the level with the platforms moving across the screen is very memorable to me. Probably because I used to die there so often. The Hungry Luma level for this world is Fleet Glide Galaxy, which is basically just a fun minigame. I was surprised with how much I liked Slip Sand Galaxy when I played it this time around. This may sound like a stretch, but the fact that it takes place at night is really cool to me. We don't get to see that too often from a Mario game. Throughout most of the level, you'll have to fight your way through sand that's pushing you backwards. Note to self, if you can't jump on something the first 2 times you try, chances are it's not going to magically work the 3rd time. Towards the end of the level, there's a sand slide with these kind of cute but also terrifying cylinders trying to crush you. Honestly, Squizzard might be my favorite boss in this game. Not sure why I would lie about that, but yeah. Honestly. When you first arrive in the Metro Kingdom, the city is under attack. Mayor Pauline says that she wants to save her city while standing hundreds of miles away from the chaos, flaunting the fact that she's the only one with an umbrella. Not only that, she can't even be bothered to hold the umbrella herself. It's up to Mario to battle through tanks and bugs in order to reach the top of a skyscraper and defeat the massive Mecha Wiggler. For as cliche as the rain is, everything about the scene creates an epic atmosphere. Once the city is saved, life gets back to normal for the most part. Mayor Pauline has asked me to go find some people playing instruments out in the city. It's like Blue's Clues. There's a drummer sitting a few feet away from her. He's literally in frame, just going to town on his drums, as Pauline tells me to go look for him. Once Mario gets the band back together, the best moment in the history of Mario begins. The New Donk City Festival. Jump Up Superstars play throughout all of the Metro Kingdom while Mario goes through a side-scrolling level. If you have a keen sense of awareness, then you'll probably notice some similarities to a different game series called Donkey Kong. But if you're just an average person, then you probably thought this was a fun dance party. And that's okay. I don't expect everyone to be as intellectual as me. I'm a big supporter of loving yourself. At this point in the video, I don't think I've appreciated myself for all the great things that I am. So I thought I'd take this segment as an opportunity to do so. The second best world in the history of every Mario game ever comes from my super world in Mario Maker 2. This is the most underrated Mario game in existence. The level design is perfect, the pacing is flawless, everything is so well decorated, and each level has a 10, 30, and 50 coin hidden that requires you to go the extra mile to earn. I've received nothing but good reviews for it.
Why?
Here's my Maker ID in case you want to play it. Oh, did I accidentally forget to edit out that I've beat one Super Expert level in a row? I had a hard time choosing the best world in my game because they're all so good, but I eventually decided on World 3. The first level features Chain Chomps as the main enemies. Okay, a little bit of a blind jump there, but just because it happened to the person who created the level doesn't mean it's going to happen to the players who don't know how it was created. After the first checkpoint, you're going to see some Hammer Bros, which I would consider to be a top tier enemy. The Ghost House is a normal left to right side scroller, which doesn't happen very often in Mario games. You could go backwards to open a P-switch door and get the 30 coin, but that's an optional puzzle. World 3 has a bonus level, or fun level depending on what you like to call it, and it is just pure bliss.
This is a good level that I'm playing on my Nintendo Switch.
The last two levels are auto-scrollers. The first one is similar to the Sinking Spire from Melty Molten Galaxy, because Mario has to continually jump to higher platforms in order to save himself from impending doom. The airship is an homage to the airships from Super Mario Bros. 3. Of course, I topped off this world with my favorite Koopa Kid. I know most people probably just refer to this guy as the one who plays with balls, but as much as I hate to admit it, I'm the kind of guy who knows every Koopa Kid by name, and this one is Lemmy. World 6 from Mario Galaxy 2. If the massive black hole in the background wasn't enough to make you believe that this is the best place in a Mario game, then that would actually make a lot of sense. It's a small detail, but it's still awesome. The first galaxy is called Melty Monster. It sets the tone for the rest of the world. There's a lot of lava, so obviously I'm a fan. The name of the galaxy refers to the Magmarks. Maybe not the toughest enemy in the game, but at least they look intimidating, which is not something I can say for every version of them. Melty Monster is famous for its bowling level. To get the second star, you have to roll around as Rock Mario. I consider myself a pro bowler, so long as the bumpers are up. Even us bumper users have our off days. The Clockwork Ruins is yet another Donkey Kong reference in a Mario game. This time it feels more like Donkey Kong Country, especially with these rotating discs. For those of you who are upset about how I didn't include a world from Mario 64 in this video, too bad. You probably recognize Throwback Galaxy. I like how they added a real boss at the end of the level. I'd also like to make it clear that I don't hate Womp's Fortress, or Mario 64 for that matter. I just don't think it's aged quite as well as some of the other games, and this list is my personal opinion. Sorry if that offends you. The atmosphere of Slimy Spring Galaxy belongs in the first Mario Galaxy game. That's mostly thanks to the music. The level has so many moments that will give you claustrophobia just by playing it. I completely ran out of air and was on my last bit of health right before the checkpoint. It's a level that provokes anxiety but is also quiet and kinda lonely. It's different from any other galaxy in the entire game. The end of the cave has an open area that plays no music, only the sounds of birds chirping. Just like the garden. Battle Belt Galaxy has a good concept. Everyone's heard of boss rushes. This is an enemy rush. You have to survive an onslaught of Bowser's minions, ranging from a Goomba to Chomp Heads. I'd say I'm off to a pretty good start. Whenever I think of this galaxy, I think of the Pumpkinhead, because that's what's used as the thumbnail. Although there is a focus on normal enemies, the Hidden Star brings back the first boss, Gobblegut. They could have done a little bit more with his fire attacks, but overall, there's not much to complain about in this level. The world finishes with Bowser's Galaxy Generator. The fight with Bowser pales in comparison to Mario Galaxy, but everything leading up to it is fantastic. It incorporates so many items, enemies, and gimmicks that were used throughout the game in a way that still fits with the Bowser's Castle theme. World 6 from Mario Galaxy 2 has some of the best levels in the series, and that is why it gets first place. You're welcome for making this video, and thanks for watching it. If you liked it, then you should subscribe. If you disliked it, then you've stuck around for a pretty long time. Maybe you just want something to be mad about. If that means watching all my videos and hating every single minute of it, then I will be more than happy to let you do that. Goodbye.